Hey guys, Julia here. Welcome to another video. And yeah, I feel like there's a lot to get into with this one, but I'm super excited about the theme this month. It's based on one of my favorite albums of all time. But before we get into planning, I thought it would be fun to quickly look at the planning situation this month. So once my lovely patrons chose the theme, I went straight into designing the stickers on my iPad. You can see I have the album art right in front of me. And actually, before I make any stickers, I sort of do like a rough sketch like this of all the spreads. And then usually a few days before filming, I'll go ahead and do a light sketch of the setup in my journal. I try not to put too many details in the initial sketch, but it does help me feel a little more comfortable going into filming day, and it does save me a lot of time. But yeah, then it's time to just get at it. I've got all my supplies picked out. I've got my audiobook ready to roll. This month, I'm listening to Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Raybourn. Hopping right into it, I want to show you guys the primary inspiration for the theme this month. This is an album called Illuminate by a band called Lydia. I've had this album for quite a while, if you can't tell, but I just love this cover. Not only does it have like perfect fall vibes, but this kind of sketchy style is just my jam, so I definitely think I can pull this off. We have some other illustrations inside, some fairy tale drop letters, some stamped looking typewriter fonts, so there's a lot to pull from for the theme this month. Also want to quickly acknowledge the original illustrator, Becky Phillip. I'll leave any links I can find of hers in the description box below. But first things first, I'm pulling out my whole gouache situation for a nice wash for the background. I'm gonna say it now that I'm running out of pages very quickly in this journal. And although I typically don't mind starting a new journal whenever I need to, my very first bullet journal actually started in December. So I'm definitely about that life, but I just don't feel like setting up a new one before the year's out. So I've challenged myself to make it work. So this setup is only gonna be 3 spreads. So yeah. This is actually going to be a cover page recreation of the album art, and I'm just going to go ahead and stick my habit trackers here too, so already consolidating space. Once everything is dry enough, I'm going to start on the line work with a Tombow Furunosuke hard tip lettering pen. I chose this pen because this is like one of my favorite pens for all the things, but also just being able to get a nice range of line quality. It's just a really good one if you're going to be doing line work first and then coloring second, because there's not like a lot of bleeding and like cross pollination with different markers. So yeah, but I will add in as many links to supplies as I can down in the description. Also some discount codes as well when I got them. So as you can see, I'm doing a lot of hatching and sort of scribbling inside of the line work. And if you've been around for a while, you know that this is my jam. So think back to last July's tentacle theme and last November's Krampus theme. This kind of sketchy, almost wood carving vibe is just kind of my jam. And it's the style that I feel like is most authentic to me. But yeah, as this comes together, you can kind of see how those little sketchy lines really make a difference. So I knew I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about Lydia if you've never heard of them before. And then I realized that I'm terrible at trying to figure out what genre a band is. So I looked it up. I gave it a little Google, and it just says an American indie rock band, which I don't know if that literally says anything, but if I had to try to describe them, I would say they're more like an atmospheric cottagecore that leans emo. At least this album is. Their more recent stuff is a little more dancey, so maybe like a fairy dance party or something. I don't know, y'all. But I will link them down below as well if any of that sounds interesting at all. But yeah, even doing the line work for the water down here, everything is just kind of like sectioned off really loose. And I probably thought about everything a little bit too much because I love putting unnecessary pressure on myself. But really, this type of style should be really loose, really fun, very low pressure in theory. And so coloring this in, I'm going to be using a mixed bag of water-based markers. I have some Calligraphs, some Tombows, some Primrosia markers, a little bit of everything, but I wanted like a really fall looking kind of muted jewel tone color palette. It's sort of close to the album artwork itself, but the colors are a little bit more punchy, I'd say. So while I'm coloring this in, I do want to know what you guys think about like learning a little bit more about what goes into planning a bullet journal theme. Like, I was thinking it would be pretty fun to do a vlog of me getting everything ready and looking up inspiration and finding supplies and all that type of stuff, but in like a vlog format, maybe a week before the Plan With Me comes out. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments. Would you care? Would you watch that? Because I feel like it'd be super fun to make, because I do enjoy planning the themes and getting everything sort of ready to go. So yes, please comment down below. I'd love that. Thank you. Also, anything else you want to see, I am an open book here, and I would love to hear what you guys want to see in 2023. And you'll see me throughout the theme kind of doing these little dots, and that's just because it gives it this sort of like wood carving texture. And yeah, so busting out the Costa Rica paper, if you know, you know, I guess. No, I think it was back in May or something I first mentioned the Costa Rica paper, but anyway, it's back. Just ripping off a little spot for the November title. I got a little too wispy and elongated with the lettering on the first go, so I just added another ripped piece of paper right on top of that and went at it again. No big deal. It actually looks, you know, pretty cool, pretty layered. So yeah, right under that, I'm going to be tracking 3 habits for November. I don't know which ones I want to do just yet. Most likely reading, drinking water, and maybe just the days that I'm active. But this is a nice little solution for these trackers space-wise. They don't take up much space, and it looks minimal enough to not really compete with what's going on above it. So that works out great. But moving over to the next page, this is going to be my monthly calendar. You already know we're going with a vertical calendar. I've added in a few of those blowing leaves just to tie everything together, since the calendar does take up most of the page. And then in that little space I have in the right margin there, I'm going to introduce those little decorative storybook drop cat letters we saw in the album booklet. And this is going to look way more fancier than it is close up. But for the decorative detail, I'm literally just scribbling, y'all. I just made like little loop-de-loops in the general shape, and bam, for some reason it looks like I was doing something amazing there. But since I don't have an entire quote page, you know, I have to put a lyric in here somewhere. So I'm going to go at that little space down at the bottom, and it just says "Sailing in My Dreams." I'm going to add some washi tape because it just wouldn't feel right without it. And that's the most labor intensive spread of the bunch, my cover spread with habit trackers and the monthly calendar. Okay, flipping over, the next spread is an interesting mashup of my night log, my monthly task dashboard, and then I'm adding like a little Thanksgiving space in here as well. So I guess I'm just going to call it my monthly dashboard spread. So the smaller boxes will be for monthly to-dos in specific categories, so Etsy, house stuff, invoices. And then one of the larger boxes is for what we've been watching. There even may be some room for some thoughts on some things here, I don't know. That would be kind of fun though. And then the other larger box is for planning out what I'm making for the whole Thanksgiving meal situation. So I've left myself some space for 2 doodles to spruce this up a bit. The first one is going to be of the mirror we saw in the album booklet. I want it to be nice and opaque, but I don't want to be using up all my acrylograph ink, so I'm going in with the Tombow first, and then I'll just go back over it with the paint pen, so I don't have to worry about like 100% coverage. And while that's drying, I'm going to add in some more leaves, which these are like the unifying factor because these doodles seemingly don't have anything in common. I'm sure there's some deep metaphor or something that I'm missing, but the colors and the leaves play, I think, the most important role in making everything feel like a theme. But yeah, going over the black with another acrylograph for detail there, basically some dots, some swirls, some lines. It's not exactly symmetrical, but I did my best here. I really liked how it turned out. And then over on the other side there, I'm doing a little pocket watch, and this is giving me March 2020 theme flashbacks in a good way because I really enjoyed that whole clock time theme. All of these kind of indirect callbacks to other themes feels really good now that I think about it because I'm in this sort of reflective sort of vibe. I definitely am starting to think about what I want to change up for next year, both with journaling and with life in general, I guess. So I'm starting to look forward to upcoming trips and events. But yeah, I definitely want to show you guys what I'm thinking about for a planner lineup next year. There's going to be quite a few new setups that need to happen. So I'm excited about getting into all of that. But yeah, finishing up that here, and it was looking a little bland, so I wanted to add in some drop shadows and a little grid accent there, and for some reason I just think that it made the page feel a bit more cozy. Okay, and just like that, we are headed into the last spread for the setup, the first weekly spread. You can see that I did a tiny bit of prep there and glued in some Costa Rica paper. And if you've been following me over on Instagram, you already know that I've fallen in love with the new weekly spread situation. And it's just a trip because every time I think this is the weekly, this is the one, I'm using this one every week forever, like my needs change or something just doesn't click all together. But I seriously think that this one is about as perfect as it's gonna get for what I need in a weekly spread. But before we get into the bones of that, I'm working on this doodle up top, and I love, love, love this in the album booklet because there's something creepy about this. Like, is it just 6 swans or birds or whatever at an angle where they're kind of behind each other in this little pack? Or is it like a 6-headed bird creature? Or is it like the motion path of whatever for this one bird? I love that it really could be like any of those things. And just thinking about that and then trying to relate that to like commentary of maybe like self-worth or something. I don't know. I kind of find it fascinating. But yeah, just coloring this in much like the cover page, just a little looser. But back to this layout. So you have the event column per usual running down the side. Any day specific meetings and events go there. The area next to that is my task bank. So this is like a rolling task list. Anything that comes up, I plop it in the queue here. So then on this other side, I'm doing a header just for now for dailies. And I haven't really done dailies since maybe my first bullet journal back in 2018, I want to say. So basically I just pull tasks from that bank, or not if they just come up on that day and I want to get it done then and there. But yeah, I just use the whole right side for like a daily task list section that I just make a header for each day. There's even like a little column down the right side there that's for doodles and just thoughts, and I've been loving this layout. I've even added some flip ups to this for even more space. Definitely give it a try. It's just been really flexible and allows me to just figure out my day-to-day game plan, but still having this rolling list so I don't forget about things. But yeah, I pulled out the stamps to match the album booklet font for the header. I just need to add in my first daily header here, and this spread is done and ready to use. This month was the last month of the collection for now, but these stickers will be available on Etsy. I will still update the shop from time to time, just not on a monthly basis, but here are the stickers for this theme. I love them so, so much. There's a decorative set and a functional set that has some of those decorative drop cap stickers and event call out stickers to match. And then the die cut for this month is a sparkly one with some lyrics on it. I loved how this one turned out as well. If you dig them and want to grab them for yourself, the link to the Etsy shop will be in the description. A very special thank you to the collection girlies for all of their love and support, whether you were in the collection for 1 month or the entire time. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. But let's hit it. Here's the flip through for all the spreads for this month. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you end up liking any Lydia songs. If you do check them out, I love talking music. But subscribe for more bullet journal stuff. Thanks for watching. Again, many hearts to the collection, and I'll catch you all super soon in the next one. And if you like this video, here are a couple more I think you would enjoy.